Law enforcement officials responded to a report of a battery involving a child on Friday, December 19th at the Gaylord Palms Hotel in Kissimmee, Florida, which is a luxury resort. They arrested 36-year-old Tiffany Lee Griffith in connection with the allegations. Investigators say that there were 3 children playing in the pool when the splashing became aggressive, according to the statement from the sheriff's office. A witness told police that they saw Griffith enter the pool calmly, approach the children, and allegedly begin splashing water on them. She then allegedly moved behind the child, placed both of her hands on his shoulders, and fully submerged the child underwater for 2 to 4 seconds, the witness said. She then allegedly splashed water on the child again before leaving the pool. The 6-year-old boy had allegedly dunked Griffith's son underwater, the sheriff's office said in their statement, adding that Griffith's son is about the same age as the alleged victim. However, officers didn't mention any such occurrences from the security footage they reviewed and detailed in their court document. According to the affidavit, the security footage that they reviewed matched the witness's account of what happened. The alleged victim left the pool with a nosebleed and reported the incident to his parents. Authorities allege that Griffith followed the child and began yelling at the boy's mother before a man removed Griffith from the scene. It wasn't immediately clear if Griffith's own son suffered any injuries. When discussing the incident with police, Griffith said that she had entered the pool to protect her child, who she said is nonverbal and has autism, from being, quote, drowned by another kid. She claimed she had dragged her son out and approached the other boy's mother. When police confronted her with the security camera footage that shows her allegedly dunking the 6-year-old, she allegedly said, quote, "I was protecting my own son." She reportedly did express some remorse about the incident, but she was charged with cruelty to a child, aggravated child abuse, which has since been downgraded to just child abuse. Now, Griffith had made her first court appearance this past Sunday and actually was held without bail. And I'm going to show you a video from that court appearance. Now, the interesting thing is, I think her defense attorney may have not helped her situation in this case when it came to bail, because he argued that his client may not have been responsible for the nosebleed the alleged victim had when he went back to his parents. In response, the judge asked the attorney, "So you think that the placing both hands on his shoulders, forcibly submerging him underwater, and holding him underwater is sufficient?" The attorney eventually said, "I would withdraw my argument, I guess." So she did remain in custody for a couple days until she was scheduled in court to appear again 2 days later on Tuesday. Here's the first court appearance that Griffith had.
The allegation is the child was running to his parents with a nosebleed. It was when the child had approached the parents that there were injuries. There's no mention of any action that was taken in between that time that would have led to those injuries.
So you don't think that the placing both hands on his shoulders, forcibly submerging him underwater and holding him underwater is sufficient?
I believe it was if that was, I would just argue again, Your Honor, as to what I said. I think that I would withdraw my argument, I guess.
And while you're in jail, you can have no contact with the victim or the victim's family. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck.
Now, at Griffith's hearing on Tuesday, the state did reduce her charge to child abuse and gave her a $20,000 bond. Deputies reported that she claimed to be a former law enforcement officer and said she pushed the child to protect her son. However, the prosecutor stated at the pretrial hearing that, quote, "she wasn't protecting her child. This is retaliation for what happened to her child." Griffith's husband, William, also spoke at this pretrial hearing saying, quote, "There was a kid in the pool that repeatedly held my son underwater and dunked him. Tiffany and I looked at this kid and basically asked where this kid's parents were." Hotel security indicated that alcohol was a factor in the incident, leading the judge to impose a condition on Griffith that she abstain from alcohol until after her trial. If found guilty, she faces up to 5 years in prison. She's also not allowed to have any contact with the victim and the victim's family. There is some body cam footage of this security incident, which I will post here, as well as some footage from her updated court appearance where her husband testified. She was released from jail once she was given that $20,000 bond that she was able to post, and I will let you know what we hear from her next hearing as she goes into trial. Let me know what you think about this one. Do you think she was in the right? Do you think she was in the wrong? I mean, I think as an adult, you have to have some sense of being able to withhold yourself from going after a child. I get the frustrating situation, but putting your hands on another child to me is never acceptable. It's not something you do. I think she just took it to an extreme level, and maybe drinking was attributing to that. If you have a child in water and you cannot handle your alcohol, I think you should maybe not drink at all. Thank you for tuning in, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Here's that video.
Tiffany Griffith been in jail since this past weekend. She was arrested at the Gaylord Palms, and in court today, she wiped away tears before the judge set bond at $20,000. It was originally no bond.
Prior to that video, there was a child in the pool that was that repeatedly held my son under the water, dunked him. Tiffany and I basically looked at each other and asked where this kid's parents were, why they weren't watching him. Came up physically or crying. The kid pushed him under again. That's when Tiffany got in the water and basically separated them.
36-year-old Tiffany Griffith bonded out of the Osceola County Jail around 10:30 p.m. She had nothing to say to our camera. Tiffany, you say you want to protect your son. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
No problem.
Is there anything you want to say at this point?
They also say she aggressively splashed the 6-year-old before and after. That boy's parents called deputies after he got out of the water with a nose